Welcome, everybody. It is another exciting edition of the Sports Hole. I'm your host, Luke. With me, as always, XFL Jim, rock and roll Matty Goldberg. What's up, gentlemen?
Feeling good. It's good to have you back, Luke.
Thank you.
I missed you.
Glad to be back, man. There was so much fun stuff happening when I was gone.
I was dead.
We had the Olympics and we had NFL preseason to talk about.
It's been a dead summer.
I was asking Matty about the Olympics, and he said you guys only talked about the guy who knocked the pole off with his dick.
And the breakdancing lady. We talked about her a little bit.
Well, Matty said you didn't talk about the breakdancing lady.
I did. I didn't watch her, though. I don't know anything about her.
It was really funny because that's one of the only things I watched on the Olympics because I was traveling around. I was in various places, and I got up before my aunt was up when I was staying at her place, and I turned it on. I'm watching breakdancing. I thought it was kind of funny, and then I just got entranced with it. And then all of a sudden, Ray Gun comes on, and this is the greatest thing I've ever seen in my life. And like I'm laughing at it, and then it got viral, and then I was buckled over when I saw other people saw that shit too. It was just the
How
greatest
many
thing on
years
the
has
planet.
breakdancing been an Olympic sport?
This was year one. This was the first time.
And it's the last time too.
Wouldn't it make sense to have it 40 years ago when breakdancing was in fashion?
Well, that's how long. Well, it's funny too because now there's like, I think there was like I saw like one or two black people from France, right, that were in it. The dominant people were like Asian.
Yeah.
So
I saw
big
the
in Asia?
Japanese
I don't know.
competitor, and they were awesome too.
They were really, that's what it was the funniest part was like, so all these people, like these girls were like, you know, like 4'9", 85 pounds, Asian. And then you have Ray Gun come out, who's like 5'6" or 5'7", with a visor on. She looked like an ant, like that golfs or something. And then she's just doing the sprinkler and a bunny hop. And
It was amazing.
doing all these other moves that looks like someone, a creative person would do at a wedding reception. It was really funny though. The backlash was the best part though. Like people saying she stole a spot from other people. And like, it is kind of funny because Australia mirrors the US in a lot of different cultural norms, I guess. And so you would think they would be a little further ahead in something like breakdancing. So
You just don't understand the breaking scene, Luke. You don't get how big it is today.
it was
it
cool
big?
though. They got to call everyone by their you know, their B-girl names.
Yeah, they're B names.
So it was like
B-girls
Ray
and
Gun
B-boys.
versus logistics.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah. So I found it very entrancing. And then it was only that, and then trying to convince my extended family that you know, I was supporting women's sports by watching the beach volleyball.
Yeah.
When you're just looking at buns the whole time.
Yeah, buns out.
Yeah.
Sun's out, buns out. Yeah. Titties.
I don't know, but I always love the Olympics, and I wish I could. Every time they come around, I go, next time I just want to.
This was a fun one.
Watch the Olympics nonstop.
This
How
was a
much
fun
did you
one,
end up
too.
watching?
So whenever I would like edit stuff and I had free days off of work, I had it on the background because I got my big ass TV in the room with me now.
Yeah.
So it's great to just have it on in the background. I caught a lot of it passively, and then I caught like some of American basketball. I did catch the Serbia game, and I caught the finals against France. I did not catch Loa Niles winning the 100-meter, but I did catch all the aftermath of him going at the NBA and then going at Tyreek Hill. And then I did catch the American ping pong teams. A lot of the ping pong. They won.
Oh,
they won gold.
Really?
Really?
Yeah.
Who knew?
Unexpected. Didn't know.
If you see the team, you kind of get it.
Okay. Are you saying first generation?
No, I'm saying we just have better ones.
Okay.
I don't get it.
My guess is Jim's trying to say they were Asian.
They are Asian Americans, yes.
Right.
Well,
American comes first.
Nebraska-
They're
so
Americans
start-
who are Asian. The
Right,
American
yes.
comes
started the
first.
Nebraska basketball team, Jimbo.
Yeah, and he's awesome.
He is.
Yeah.
I'm not saying they're not all bad. It was since
He
when
almost
did Asian
won
become a
the
slur?
first. First tournament game in forever.
Since what, 2014? 10 years?
Something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. The USA Olympic basketball team is really, I'll be honest, even though they win gold, it's really a letdown. They're just, you can't have all these number one options on one team. It just doesn't work like that.
Well, if it's close, they disappointed people. If they blow everybody out, people say it's boring. They can't win either way.
No,
This
but they
was a- this
should
was
be
a-
blowing people out. Like
I think this was a
Yeah.
good year. I think
Do
the
you?
Serbia game was a little weird.
Uh-huh.
Serbia
That was a
played
very
them
close.
tough.
Serbia played them super tough, but they dominated just about everyone else.
Yeah.
And like Steph Curry was going ham, especially against France.
Yeah. And I
fun.
liked I enjoyed the last quarter of the game. France hung in there.
All right. I
So-
only
so-
watched preseason games or pre-Olympic tune-up games, so I guess I'm not qualified to talk about it as much. So you're saying it was you were happy with the team though.
And
I mean,
the women, hey, like as dominant as the men's were, guess what? The women only won by 1 point.
well, the
Against who? Australia? Was it?
France. They both
France.
played France.
I mean, they lost to the backup team.
But the US women's team hasn't lost a game since 92 in the Olympics. I don't
Correct.
think. Yeah.
That is correct.
That's nuts. So that backup team could have won too, easily. 'cause-
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably could have done better. Who knows?
My favorite
Probably
stat of
the
the Olympics was, I believe, it was America versus Japan, where Japan's tallest player was like 5'11" or 6'1".
Oh yeah, I saw some of those pictures of that. Like that was fantastic. I think that, and I saw one when Japan was playing France and going against
Yep.
Victor Wembanyama, and it's funny though. I saw some, I did see some clips of like people like a French players dunking on LeBron, which is funny because I remember one of the biggest men's highlights was Vince Carter like dunking over a gangly French guy and just basically teabagging him in the
Now it
process.
goes full circle.
Yeah, and now it's like the world is playing basketball now, so they're way more competitive, and the games are much more fun than they used to be.
Well, they're
comparatively.
catching up.
Yeah, I don't. It's like soccer is to like Brazil. Like, who knows, like if you'll actually fully catch up, but the French have been getting drafted very high, which is very funny too.
Mm-hmm.
They're trying.
They're trying. What else did I miss while I was gone? I was 2 weeks away.
You missed the
Football.
AP top 25 reveal.
Yeah.
Oh,
Preseason.
really?
Your Wolverines are number 9.
I can see that's fair.
Just
Yeah.
in the playoffs.
Yeah, they've already made the playoffs. Why even play the season?
Who's number one?
Who do you think? Take a
Ohio
guess.
State,
Ohio
No.
State.
No.
Oregon.
No.
Georgia.
Also no. Yes, Maddie. It is
Georgia,
Georgia
really? Okay.
Bulldogs. You guessed the 2 and 3 though. It's Georgia, Ohio State, Oregon.
Okay, where's Bama ranked?
5.
Okay,
And Oregon's in the Big Ten.
Correct.
Very interesting.
Potential game of the year: Oregon versus Ohio State. That's going to be
Yeah.
a really good one.
Fun.
it's gonna be. Yeah, it's as much as I hate that the regionality is being lost. It's just gonna be a way better product though. Like
There- There's gonna be
with
some really
Michigan,
fun
Ohio State have
environments.
just been rolling through
We
the
also-
Big Ten.
Covered Hard Knocks,
We
Yeah.
did.
but it's been
Covered a
pretty
little
slow.
preseason.
See, this summer's always a slow time, even with the Olympics.
Also, yeah, we talked for college football too. Only one conference now has divisions. Every conference besides the Sun Belt has gotten rid of divisions.
Do we know how any of this is going to work? Like as far as a championship game,
Like as far as the playoffs for the
not the
college football season?
playoffs. I mean, are they still doing like conference championship games?
Yeah. So yes, I believe every conference is still doing conference champions,
And they're
and they're doing like
just-
conference
they're just-
championships.
They're
No, they're
just
doing conference
picking the top
championships.
two. They're just the
Yeah.
top two teams.
Top 2 teams.
Okay.
and that's
Just like how the Big
that's
12 has
it.
been doing it for the last couple of years.
And the winner is in the playoffs. Guaranteed.
Yeah, winner automatically in the playoffs, and then there's 7 at-large bids.
Okay. Gotcha. All right.
So it'll be
That's a
interesting
lot.
to see the arguments for who gets in and who gets left out. Because I think it was Matt Rule that said the Big Ten should get 3.
I agree. Big Ten, SEC should probably both get 3.
Which leaves 1 at large between the ACC and Big 12.
Is that it? There's only
There's
8
7.
teams? There's okay.
So there's 7 so there's 4 automatic with the conference championship. Like conference champions are automatic qualifiers.
Right.
So then there would be 2 more for the Big Ten, 2 more for the SEC.
Okay.
Out of 7. And then I guess they split them up 2 more between maybe 1 at large for the ACC, 1 at large for the Big 12.
All right. It'll be very interesting.
It'll be a fun year.
I think it's going to be a really fun year. How's Nebraska been looking according to the rumors?
You got their Patrick Mahomes lookalike.
The win total set at 7.5. I'm guessing 7 to 8
That's a
wins.
good number.
That's a great number for me.
What was it
That would be
last year?
fantastic. We won 5
4.
games.
Okay. 2 more Matt Rules.
Their quarterback looks exactly like Patrick Mahomes.
Really?
Yeah. It's
Dylan
uncanny.
Ravioli.
And he
Dylan Ravioli looks pretty good. And he looks strikingly similar in style to Patrick Mahomes.
Really? Well, that's
just exciting. The way he looks, just the way, like as a person.
His style,
just as a
too.
person, not the way he plays.
No. As a person, he looks very similar to Patrick Mahomes.
And he plays more like Mitch Trubisky. Is that what you're trying to say?
Hey, Mitch Trubisky was fine in college. I don't give a fuck, dude.
When you're Patrick Mahomes in the sheets, but you're Mitch Trubisky in the streets. Something like that.
You're
I forget
Jackson Mahomes in the streets.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So yeah, it's been Hard Knocks has been good so far. The Eagle is the star, the Canadian Eagle.
Who's the Canadian Eagle?
He's some lineman that he dropped down to a Eagles Speedo and saying, "I'm proud to be an American."
Really?
Part of the team, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
It's the biggest viral sensation in Hard Knocks. That was some schmo lineman who might make the team, might not, but he's a star on Hard Knocks.
Well, that's all that matters in our hearts.
And he's getting a lot of airtime.
All right. So what's been going on in NFL preseason? Catch me up to speed.
Well,
who's looking good? Who's looking
your
terrible?
guy is out for the year.
Right. I've heard that.
Jaden Daniels got the starting job at the Commanders.
Congratulations, Jaden.
You really, Jim and I, I'm mad at Jim because we wasted a whole show. He made me do this, what do you think teams will do in preseason? It's it's hard to tell because what they do in the first half is not what they do in the second half.
Yeah.
And so it's you'll watch a team like Houston Texans, and I'm yeah, they don't really need to play. So they're great in the first half, but they're terrible in the second half.
Yep.
And you just don't really know. It really goes by as soon as your 2s and your 3s can be completely different.
Have you guys?
It was very
fun. The preseason?
I have been. It's been very fun. I've done all right. I usually do decent in preseason
because I'm bored. But then after a while, I get bored after a few plays. But then I don't understand. Sorry to interrupt. You go.
Go ahead. Okay, I was just gonna say I enjoy having the preseason on. I watch it in clips and whatnot for the most part because I follow enough accounts that follow they just watch what's going on with the UFL players and guys from spring football. So I just see all that. Adrian Martinez has looked pretty good. I'll say that for the Jets. He's looked good.
Also, the thing, I was watching.
And Perez has a shot for the Chargers.
I was watching
Adrian Martinez is on the Jets?
Yes, at 30. I was watching Brock Purdy play Sunday, and I'm all his receivers and his running backs are backups. And I'm why even have him out? Why would you want him getting hurt in this situation? I would imagine the starters for the offensive line. I would never put my 2s offensive line with my starting quarterbacks. Especially a franchise quarterback. I don't know if there were, but I know their 2s and the 2s and 3s were in the elite positions. And I was just he looked very, very pedestrian. You see what a difference is when you have your guys out there. And I'm why even put him out there if he's not he practices more with the main guys? It's a weird move, I think. But
yeah, I don't know what people are really it's so hard to judge these people fairly. in the preseason. I feel it's
Yeah, everybody is a different thing. So like some people are trying not to get hurt. Some people are trying to get in game shape. Some people are trying to prove themselves because they got to make a team. And it works that way. Like I remember one year Victor Cruz had like 4 touchdowns and he was like just a undrafted rookie and he was a primetime player for about 3 or 4 years on the Giants.
yeah.
So sometimes you get a guy like that where he needs to shine, but then there's some guys that are like, yeah, he needs a little gameplay, but do not get him hurt. And I even think for the Vikings, like I said last week, I really believe in JJ McCarthy, but Patrick Mahomes set out a year
Yeah.
is
I always
awesome.
thought
Tom
he
Brady,
should have. I thought JJ should be sitting out a year, and I'm not glad he's hurt, but
yeah,
I think this is a good opportunity for him to not get fucking creamed and to
exactly.
learn.
Sit a year, learn,
Yeah.
learn through the best, watch, learn.
Well,
Hopefully, Sam Darnold will be a good teacher.
Tom Brady sort of came out too and said that he says that the NFL is basically dumbing down the playbook for these rookie quarterbacks just to try to get him in there. And he says it's not a good trend because it doesn't like help them grow. You're sort of like,
Yeah. Well, yeah. I heard something too that actually Nick Saban was on the first, Matt Eberflus, his college coach he went to University of Toledo. So his college coach was Nick Saban. And Nick Saban was, when he talks, you listen.
yeah,
And he said the biggest problem with quarterbacks in the NFL is the pressure to perform right away is so intense that a lot of these guys just lose it and can't do it. And it's like a few years ago, we were so high on that draft with Fields and Trevor Lawrence and Mac Jones and Trey Lance and Zach Wilson. And we have one guy that starts out of all of them. And all these guys were like supposed to come right on the field and just save that franchise.
yeah. One thing, how are you guys feeling about Caleb Williams in his limited
He looks
action?
good.
Well, I'll say this. The highlights I saw of him were like, and I didn't watch the whole games. Obviously I couldn't, but like the highlights, it looked like USC. It was like they were coming from these broken plays,
Well,
like,
and
which is good, but it's also like,
it's very misleading.
yes, you need a guy who can like fucking just step back and then sling it and not have to wait for fucking 10 seconds for a broken play and then just wing it up there.
Well, yeah, and also these defenses aren't showing a lot. So
Right.
he's again, the Bears are one of those teams that like want to come in the season with momentum.
Yeah.
So like, remember a few years ago, the Lions were on Hard Knocks, and they were playing hard in the preseason because they had nothing going on for so long. They need that like momentum to go into the season. The Bears do too. But then you see a team like the Houston Texans, it's like, hey, we got a shot. Our goal in this preseason is to get none of our key players hurt. And we're not going to show shit to anybody. We're not going to show anybody any sort of looks or anything. And then you get like these misleading games where, the Bears last game, I think Caleb Williams looked great. And then Tyson Badgett came in, threw 2 touchdowns.
Oh, Badgett, baby.
Yeah. So different teams have different ways of how they're doing their preseason. It's like how you do Vegas. Some people gamble, some people get whores, some people go to shows, some people, go to the pool and spa. Everybody does Vegas.
And what did you do in your last trip to Maddie?
I fought with everybody, played poker, had meltdowns.
It's a good way to do it.
Went to a convention based on a fucking drunk has-been loser.
Yeah. Which a lot more news, John quit again, which is sad, but
has he unquit since our last episode, Maddie?
No, he's still on retirement. And I think it's good. He needs to take a few weeks. He needs to take a month off. Yeah. It was getting a little too intense, especially since the John tapes came out.
No, like I feel like with the Dabbleverse, it does just need a reset, like an end of a season,
Yeah.
Like you end
really
on a cliffhanger. Let's go away. Let's reset the palette.
But I would say that in preseason, everybody does it differently. And I like Jim's preseason because Jim is, first of all, Jim should have a job with the UFL. He should do PR for it. And the other thing is, he cares so much about the UFL.
Damn right
He's
I
like,
do.
he's like a principal that cares about his students when they leave the school. He's watching all the UFL guys.
Yeah,
And
it's
he's
like
like,
that
that's
movie
I
my
Lean
root
guy.
on
for him
Me.
too. I root for
I
my
know
boys
you
in
are.
the NFL. I'll root for
I
the
know you
UFL
are.
guys and XFL guys forever.
And I'll tell you what, if they have a guy, they can't have a kicker, but they need a quarterback or a running back or a wide receiver or a guy who sacks a lot of guys. If they can get a guy to come out of that league and be a not a Hall of Famer, but an all-star, it will do the UFL some good. Just like kind of Kurt Warner. Kurt Warner was arena guy, World Football
It'd be
League.
massive.
Yes.
I'm
So I
looking
love
forward
that
to the
Jim
day.
cares. He watches the cut tracker, and when a UFL guy gets cut, a little Jim dies inside all of us.
I'll tweet teams that cut him. I've been having my eyes.
Do you
peeled like a
harass NFL teams that cut
Very-
UFL
yes,
players?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah,
Yes, I
like
do.
we
If
have
the
a choice.
Chargers cut Luis Perez, I am going all in on the Chargers
We
and
have a-
specifically Jim Harbaugh.
Oh,
Yeah, we have a choice
Oh,
whether
no.
to keep Debo Samuel or some schmo on the Washington Nationals or Generals. We'll probably keep Debo, or the quarterback for the Chargers.
Well, I mean, obviously, Perez is the backup. I'm just saying, keep him as the backup. It's either him or Easton Stick, and Easton Stick is trash.
Yeah, he's been around way too long.
Yeah, get Perez
He's
in
the type
there.
of guy that they kind of thought were the future before they drafted. The name slips me. What's the quarterback for the Chargers? It's
Justin
good.
Herbert.
Yeah, Herbert. So like, when you're that guy now, it's pretty much over if you're Easton Stick.
I mean, Easton Sticks from Omaha.
Yes.
Yeah, he played at Washington State, I think.
No, you're thinking of
Eastern
Jacob.
Washington.
He
Yeah.
played at North Dakota State.
North Dakota State. Oh, I'm way off.
Are you thinking of Jacob Eason?
I
Maddie?
think
No, I
that's-
was thinking of Easton Stick, but I had the college wrong.
That's a
Okay.
great name. That sounds
It
like
is.
a name in a sports movie. Or like Easton
Yeah.
Stick. He's washed up,
Yeah.
and then he makes a big comeback in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
He's like Roger Dorn, Major League.
yeah. Tin
But
Cup.
yeah. So the thing is, like, as I was telling Jim too, the last few weeks, like come August, like come September, my life is taken over by football, my pools,
Also,
my
same.
survival pool, suicide pool, fantasy league, all types of pools, swimming. Like you're watching 12 hours Saturday, 12 hours Sunday, Thursday, Monday night. I mean,
I'm
we're
thinking
free.
of getting YouTube TV just so I can
You
DVR some of these games. Because
Yeah, well, the beauty of YouTube
The split
TV
screen is amazing.
four splits, and then what I do is I have my iPad. I do it that. So you essentially now have a sports bar in your house. Even with DirecTV, you couldn't do that. So I'm watching 8 games at one time, and trust me, it helped my gambling. Because like I've never been able to really watch the Seahawks, but now I watch the Seahawks every week, and I'm like, you really get to know if they're good or not by watching these games. Really watching them.
no, you do have to really watch games because
Yes.
stats do fucking lie all
Yes.
the time. And yeah,
And you also see their first matchup. So like the Seahawks play the 49ers in week 3 and week 9, you can get a better gist of how that game's going to go.
yeah, absolutely. Jim, I was reading about your Dolphins. So Tua is now.
He's all over
Tua
the
made headlines a couple times this week.
Yes.
One's bashing Brian Flores.
Yeah, he went on the Levitard show.
Yeah, for saying he was mean to him and told him he sucked.
Yeah.
Like, who airs that? That's like chick shit, though. I don't.
I
like
think he
that.
was just being. I think he was just being. It was more. So I listened to the whole thing. It was just
Especially
kind
when
of like
people still now debate whether he should be on the Dolphins or not.
it was kind of like just a different environment thing.
All right.
From what it sounded like.
Yeah.
Well, I have some thoughts about that.
Go for it, Maddie.
I think Tua is an overrated quarterback. I don't think they'll ever win with him.
I don't get how you say overrated. Every time I hear someone talk about him, they say he's trash. Like,
Well, he's overrated because
everyone
He's
I hear talk
overrated
about him,
trash.
everyone I hear talk about him say he's mediocre to bad. I don't see how he's over. I feel like he's just rated.
His contract is overrated. I'm going by his
Every
contract.
quarterback's contract is overrated.
He got the most money you can get.
Every quarterback gets the most money.
Yeah,
Josh Love has played 8 games good and got
other,
like the highest paid quarterback contract ever.
Look, I'm not saying Brian Flores is a great head coach, but here's the thing. Mike McDaniel has hitched his wagon to Tua. This is a year that Mike McDaniel gets fired or not because of what Tua does. Tua has more weapons than most guys I've ever seen. And for him to play that dog shit football down the stretch and then play like shit in the playoffs, I don't see what's so good about him. And it's like, Tua, you ain't Pat Mahomes. Like, you're talking like if Brian Flores had Pat Mahomes and said he sucked and got fired, that's one thing. But you haven't proven shit, buddy. They put Tyreek Hill there. They put H in there. They put Jalen Waddle there, and you haven't done shit. Sorry, you stink. He's right. You're not good. And Mike McDaniel could come in there with all the positivity, and I love Mike McDaniel, and he's great for the NFL, and I want him to succeed. But Mike is going to go down with Tua. He will get another job as a coach. He'll probably have to be an OC and reprove himself again. But he's going to lose his job because of Tua, because when you get Tyreek Hill and you get some of these other guys and you still can't win a playoff game, and it shows as soon as Tyreek goes down, you stink. What do you want people to think as I drool? As I stuttering John drool, I am mad.
He is that worked up.
He is that worked up.
Can't control
fine,
his
if he's not
bodily fluids.
overrated and people say he stinks or he's average, then he's properly rated.
Yeah. That's all I'm saying. He's not overrated.
You're a realist.
I
Maddie,
think he's
did you
fine.
just yell about a guy being properly rated?
No, it's just that Jim was making the point. Like,
I think he's fine. I think he's a fine.
But he should not be talking like a
no. I agree. We should. But he's
talking like Mahomes.
The thing with Tua, as I've listened to enough interviews about him, he's very bad about being like, people ask a question, he'll just say whatever. He has no
another
tact.
thing he said, which made
Flores.
Like, I would not be happy if I was a Dolphins fan. It was like, he said that their whole, like, one of their big goals was to get Tyreek Hill to 2,000 yards. Like, that's
last year, yeah,
fucking dumb.
Very dumb.
So like, not serious.
Look, he doesn't have it. He doesn't have the intangibles to be that guy, that dude. And we're talking like even a Josh Allen, who, Josh Allen has won the big game, but Josh Allen has won playoff games. And Josh Allen has a lot less talent around him than Tua does. Josh Allen on the Dolphins, they're winning the Super Bowl this year.
Maddie, I'm taking Josh Allen 100 times over 100. I'm also posing the question, how many of that dudes in the NFL are there? Like 8?
There's about 4 or 5, but he ain't one of them.
I'm not saying he is.
Okay, so my point is, when you bury a coach, that is reserved for those dudes.
I'll say for Brian Flores, if he was that good, why does he have a head coaching job?
Why doesn't he?
Yeah.
Because of the quarterback.
Well, also, I don't think he should have been fired the year he got fired. He played well with a team that didn't have a lot at that time.
He's been decent, but also that whole year he did have like a whole 2 offensive coordinator situation. He kind of mismanaged things. Look, I think Brian Flores is one of the best defensive minds in the NFL.
Yeah, and McDaniel has done better as
a
head coach, and McDaniel is probably suited better as a head coach. I'm watching Matt Eberflus, and while I don't find him charismatic, I understand that like you have to be a player's coach. You're the days of like Mike Ditka is over, and that's kind of Brian Flores' style, the Belichick, whatever, very cold, dour, whatever. And Mike McDaniel's the new young guy that's like a player, rah guy that's inspirational, motivational, that, knows he's not like a big jock. So he's got to motivate these guys because they're like, we're not going to run through a brick wall for a 130-pound nerd, you know? Like, I can't coach in
I
the
want him to
NFL.
coach like that. I want him to call people pussies and tell them they suck.
Who knows if it will work, but I can tell you this. If you want to bury a coach, a guy who's been in the NFL, like who's worked his way up, who's been a head coach, who's been a good DC, who's got rings with the Patriots, you want to bury a guy, you better, like, if Patrick Mahomes came in the league and a coach didn't play him and said he sucked, and he's got, how many rings does he have? 3 now? And he's like, tell me about your first coach. He's like, it was rough. This guy said I sucked every day. He said you're not going to make it. And now Andy Reid came in, and look what happened. Well, guess what? Nothing has happened. It's just that they put more weapons around him and less results.
No, I don't know about less results, Matty. I don't know about less results.
So
they made a
2
playoff game.
games.
They made a playoff game,
Yes.
which is better than they ever did under
They
Flores.
made 2 in a row. So one, he was hurt last year, so he didn't play. That was 2 years ago against the Bills. The Skylar Austin game.
Mm-hmm. Skylar Thompson.
And then last year, granted, I will maybe give a little because it was so cold.
I'll give it. So I don't want to make excuses, but I will say, like, just injuries again. I'll say this for the Dolphins.
It was losing to the Bills at home, which Tua was awful, and so was Josh Allen. And then the game they lost to the Titans when they were up by 14 with like
that was
5
the killer.
minutes ago.
That was the fucking killer. That was.
But those are games he's got to win if he wants to be a big time player. So then he shows up to Kansas City and he doesn't do anything. And I get it was 50 below, but you put yourself in that position. I just don't believe in him, and he's got all the weapons. If you ask me what quarterback has the most weapons, I'm going to say Tua.
Yeah.
By far. So, sorry, I have no respect.
That's why they're the number 2 offense.
I mean, I have respect for him, but I don't have a lot of
number
respect.
2.
Yeah, I forget who was number 1 in last year.
Who's got more weapons? Maybe the Vikings.
Vikings, maybe. Bears now.
I love the Bears wide receiver crew. They really built an offense, man.
Rams have a pretty good one.
No.
Close.
No,
Lions,
Lions
have the best OC.
Cup's getting old, I guess.
I love the Lions. So you got, with the Lions, you got Brown, you got Williams, and then you got the great tight end, the Iowa guy. Every Iowa tight end's great.
Laporte.
And the running backs, Donald Gibbs and Montgomery are great.
Yeah.
And what's face Goff was great last year.
Do I know the number 1 ranked offense last year? I just looked it up.
Sure.
It's the Cowboys.
Really?
That's misleading too.
Yeah.
They have a lot of weapons too. But you can't start burying coaches when you've never done shit. Win a playoff game. Sorry.
I'll agree with that, Matty.
I don't mean to be negative.
I've always put Tua around like the Kirk Cousins level.
Yeah. Well, Cousins has 2 playoff wins.
Yeah, his entire career.
Or 1. He has 1. I think he has 2.
I think he has 2. I think he has 2.
He beat the 49ers one year.
They beat the Saints.
They beat the Saints.
They beat the Saints. Yeah.
And I think that's it. They lost to he's only got 1.
Oh, okay.
All right. Shifting gears.
Yeah.
Caitlin Clark now owns the WNBA rookie assist record. And that's in 2 quicker games than the previous record holder.
She's starting to score points now.
She is starting to score. She scored like at least 20 points in the last 5 out of 6 games too. She's been averaging about 23, 24
You know what?
points,
I follow these
11
videos.
assists. What's up?
Somehow on my YouTube feed, I get the little shorts of the WNBA girls coming to the arena. It's great because the fashion of the WNBA women is so all over the place. Like some girls look like they come out of the runway, like modeling. Then some girls look like they're at the Met Gala with like ridiculous outfits. And then some girls just show up in sweatpants. And I got respect for them all. Like all 3.
Who's your favorite dresser?
I kind of like the girls that just show up in sweatpants
Really?
and don't give a fuck because it's just kind of funny. But like Caitlin Clark is in the middle. Like she's very fashionable
Ah,
with like kind of a sexy style, but not overtly. And then like Angel Reese is just like yeah, look at me,
you're right. How does
motherfuckers.
Brittany Griner dress?
I haven't really focused on her that
Why
much.
not?
Probably because of my sexual orientation.
I saw her in a tuxedo the other day.
Yeah, but I think it's fun. I think it's fun
Yeah.
for them because the men, it was always like fun seeing like was it Russell Westbrook and his crazy outfits, and I love that ESPN did a really funny parody. You ever see the parody commercial they did where like John Buccigross shows up to
Oh
work
no,
wearing?
that would be fun though.
Yeah, it's great. He's wearing like a half shirt, like, and they're like, "Hey, what's up?" You know, he does that kind of thing.
Right,
Like, they
right.
really did a great job with it. But good for the WNBA girls. But on the court, yeah, Caitlin Clark is doing great. What she did with her coach was she focused on assists for like a month. They're like, listen, pass the ball, the scoring will come. And now that she's passing so well, I think it's all coming now.
Well, her
The Olympic
vision is
break helped.
just insane
It's
because
crazy
like
good.
Yeah.
she makes almost every like there'll be a normal miss from a team and she'll just fucking start a transition break like it was
Yeah,
a
she's
long
great.
rebound or something, and then she just spots people. She just picks those defenses apart.
Yeah, she plays a lot like Magic Johnson.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the
It's a good
closest
call.
person I would compare it to.
Yeah, as far as the passing goes, for sure. Yeah, and her scoring acumen is just going
But
up
I
too.
want to say like the other girls are even though some of them are a little jealous of her, they're playing great too. Can't Angel Reese is it's bringing the best out in Angel Reese, whether she'd want to admit it or not.
Yeah.
She's playing better because she probably hates Caitlin Clark. So,
Oh yeah.
they're all trying to like it's bringing out the best in all of them. It's good for the league. So
Yeah. No, it's good. If you're interested in there's a channel called Awful Coaching, and
yeah.
this guy just yells the whole time.
Mm.
And he'll like in for Caitlin Clark, he does like a positive yell, like, look at her,
Yeah.
she's just carrying the whole team. Look
Yeah.
at this girl, this Spurs. It's really funny, and he's really good though. He knows his shit. So
I mean, she's starting to really get better though. Like the first month, everybody was okay. Maybe she's just a great college player, and the WNBA will be such a step up. But she's finally getting the hold of it.
oh yeah.
So
She's been
good
getting
for her.
better like each and every week.
Yeah. It's nuts. It's like, I mean, to have that kind of pressure on you and everybody hates you and they're
Yes.
gunning for you, and then you're still able to, just keep persevering week in and week out and get improving. It's pretty nuts because LeBron didn't even make a playoff his first year.
No.
And this team's already matched its win total from last season with like another 13 games to go.
And I think they were like 2-10 to start the season out.
Yeah, they did not start off well. She didn't start off great.
I remember we were in Vegas, and I think they were like 2-6 or 2-8,
Yeah.
and it was bad. There were some 8-point games. She was getting pushed around pretty hard. So
No, I think they're in prime position to get a playoff spot too. I think it's the
yeah,
top 8 teams. Is that how it works, Jim? I feel you would know that.
I don't know. I think there's only like how many teams are in the league?
There's not a lot. There's only like
Here,
16.
let me tell you how many there are.
Yeah.
Let me look at that up.
I'm looking it up right now, Maddie.
Who's gonna
There's
get
12.
first?
There's
What,
12
6
12
make it?
NBA teams.
They don't have like the divisions, like the Eastern Division, the Western Division.
They don't? I think they do.
No, it's just 12 teams. I'm seeing. Oh no, there's a
Yeah.
No,
conference.
there's conferences.
Okay.
No, it looks like the Fever are pretty much going to be in.
Yeah, I don't know.
So right now I'm looking at the ESPN Heat tracker for who's in the playoff picture. Where the Fever are 94% likely going to be in.
Yeah.
Nice.
Imagine
They'll
that.
probably have to play the best team.
They could keep winning though too. and move up as well. Because right now I think they're slotted
They're
for like
6-4 in their last 10, and they're 2-0 in their last 2. So it's looking good.
No, they could keep moving up and not have to play the number 1
And
team.
the attendance is great when she's there. You can't deny that.
Oh yeah, it's a hot ticket.
I'm trying to see if someone's made a bracket so far. Where would they be ranked? They would be ranked if the playoffs were today. They would be ranked. Oh, fucking gotta. There we go. 7th. They'd be 7th.
Okay.
So 8 teams make it.
I believe. Yes. 8
It's like
round.
the NHL.
So if it ended today, they would play the Sun, the Connecticut Sun.
There was a time maybe 35, 40 years ago in the NHL, they had, I think, 6 divisions, and 5 teams were in each division, and 4 teams would make the playoffs in each division.
Wow.
They've come a long way.
Current odds for the Fever, by the way, plus 3,000.
Wow. You should
Dave
take
Portnoy
it, Jim.
bet like 100.
No, it's because, dude, that's juice to hell because of Caitlin Clark.
But
you
they're
so
playing
mad?
well.
No, I'm just saying the number's bad. That's just a bad number.
Oh, is that a
Why are
bad
you
number?
bad,
Yeah.
Jim?
I'm just saying it's a bad number. Also, it's hilarious how it drops from like the Las Vegas Aces are plus 190, and then the Seattle Storm, the next team up, are 14-1.
There's a lot of controversy about this. Nika Mool on Seattle. Oh, she's beautiful.
What's
Mika
her
Mool,
name?
I don't
Mika
know.
Mool? You spell
Nika
that?
Mool, Nika Mool.
Oh,
Yeah,
like
it's like
that.
Nika Mool.
Oh, she's
or
Croatian.
Mule.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see what you're
Yeah.
talking about here. What's about her? She's just because she's hot?
I don't know. She's not getting a lot of playing time. And she was very good on UConn last year, and she kind of shut down Caitlin Clark in the semifinal game. She was
Maybe they're saving her till when they play the Storm.
possible.
Yeah.
I don't know. Who
She's
knows?
very fashionable.
Yes, she
Oh
is.
yeah.
All right, good for Nika Mool. All right, you guys ready to go into the hole?
Yeah, this one's a crazy one, I see.
So there's a soccer player. I don't follow soccer. Maddie does to some extent, I guess. Named Yerson Mosquera. He choked a player and then he tries to finger the butt of another player. Doesn't
Was
even
that
get
an
a yellow
accident?
card.
So I do take umbrage with the word fingering in this. I watched the clip, Luke. I studied it.
Okay.
I would not call that fingering. I would call that what we call in the biz is a credit card swipe. You just do a little swipe. He was like approaching the brim of the butt crack. He was not
Was there
getting
something
deep up
to
in there.
to the butt to hurt the player? I don't understand what
He like kind of like grabbed. So the player was like bent over a little bit over the ball.
Yeah.
He like cupped his hand around the player's butt and got his finger like kind of right above the hole, but like on the crack, and then start pushing him, like
Was he
pulling him
trying to
towards
hit his
himself.
nuts?
No, it sounded like he was just trying to like pull him and get him out of the way or off
But he
balance or
wasn't
something.
like, let me finger your ass.
It was erotic
close,
cupping.
dude.
It was erotic cupping, I would call it.
Could he be arrested for a sexual assault?
If that were a lady or
yes,
a
if
man
that were
in
a
public,
woman,
yes, that would be sexual assault.
definitely.
Did
The
he get
choking was
brown?
way more egregious to me, though.
He didn't have
'cause, like,
brown on
Yeah, the
his finger.
choking was nuts.
He's like already on the ground. Like the player
That's-
like wrapped his arm around him a little bit while he fell, and then he's like on the ground, like on top of the guy, just choking him out,
What
just choking
league
the
is
life
it?
out of
What
him.
league is
This
this?
is the Premier League. He plays, I believe it's a Premier. He plays for
They were playing Arsenal. It was
Is
it
he
was
suspended?
he plays for some what is Wolf?
Wolverhampton.
Oh, it's the Wolves.
The Wolves.
Wolverhampton.
Yeah.
Is he suspended?
No, there was nothing
No.
was called. Do you
You
guys
know, like
remember a few years ago when that rugby player got suspended because he would under the pile he would
Grab nuts.
bite and finger buttholes of other opponents?
Ugh. Yeah,
Yeah,
would
I
quit.
do.
I remember Luis Suarez was the soccer player in Ecuador, I think.
Yeah,
And he would spit on it. Like he had a problem spitting on
I
guys.
think he bit people too. He
Yeah, he
did
bit
something.
people.
He did
That's
some
what it
other
was. He
weird
bit people.
shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like it seems like these guys, they do it over and over. Like if you're that type of person, that's what you do.
I don't know. I appreciate the effort though. You should try to win at
You
all
can't control your
costs.
emotions.
Also, I didn't realize like how soccer has 3 refs total.
Yeah.
That seems like a crazy low amount, right?
Well, I don't think you have to look out for as much like you do in the NFL.
No, it's a lot. I mean, that's not enough. The game, it's a huge field. They're lucky now they have instant replay.
Well,
But
look, dude, if some guy's behind the play fingering another guy, I don't think it's a big deal.
I think there should be 5 officials in soccer.
I think so.
They're older and they're not in great shape.
Because I was scrolling down. Look, I'm looking. There was a comment that posted like I didn't realize there's 4 in hockey.
Yeah.
Oh, really? In that little room?
I think there's one
Yeah.
alternate. I think there's 3 on the ice.
There's 3 in soccer, and there's as many soccer players on the field at a given time as like the NFL. So I think you should. I think 4 or 5 would be a good amount because either that you can either do that, or I think a good way to maybe counteract this is after the fact, maybe fines.
Maybe, but I like the idea of like there's a sport and it's happening on the field and there's an action portion of it, but behind the action portion is the wastelands of the field, and anything goes in the wastelands of the field.
I do like the sound of that now. Okay,
Right?
you brought me back in. You brought me back in, Luke. You got me back in.
Teenage wasteland.
I don't want no police state in my games.
How about this? We give 1 player on each team, a random player each game, a knife. Or just a stick, just like
Is there any way they can suspend this guy or fine him or
Maddie's out for justice now. He's like Steven Seagal. He wants
well,
retribution.
it will happen again. It will happen again if they don't do anything. Like these guys keep doing it. I mean, that's what I saw with Suarez. As bad as it was to bite somebody, and they're like, when they saw him bite somebody the first time, they were like, well, maybe he lost control. And then when he did it again, and then not too long after he did it the first time, you're like, this is a problem.
Yeah. We'll see. We'll have to follow this story more closely as your son Mascara continues his career with the Wolves. All right, we had another guy making some news. Gozder Charillis. Do you guys remember this?
It's a hell of a name.
Yeah, that's another great name. He was an NFL player. He played for the Bucks for a while. He got arrested for pissing on an elderly woman on a plane.
Is that while he was with his team or
no? He's retired now.
Oh,
he's like.
To be fair, the flight was from Boston to Dublin. I feel like there's a lot of pissing that goes on that.
Yeah,
flight.
That sounds like a very drunken flight.
That sounds like a very drunk flight.
His excuse was that they were basically on the tarmac a long time, and so as the flight moved to more of a night flight, he decided to take a sleeping pill that he doesn't normally take, and
beat himself.
That's what, and then he was like disorientated, and then he was just pissing on an old woman.
Maybe he was really drunk too.
Probably.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're sitting on the God.
It's crazy to me they don't let you pee on the tarmac.
Yeah. Yeah, it is annoying because you get on the plane. Like what happened with me is when I went to Vegas, we get off, and then you're sitting there and you're not allowed to get up, and you got to piss. And I sat there for another 40 minutes. And then you're like just sitting there.
Yeah, being stuck on the tarmac is infuriating.
I hate it so much.
It's because it's like you're like so close to civilization, and then they're just holding you there.
And then they tell you like we're looking for a place, and just like, oh, this is so frustrating.
Yeah. There's got to be a better way. I went to when I was on my trip, I went to Santa Fe, and their airport is fucking hilarious. It's like literally two terminals in the same area. You can see one and the other.
Wow.
And then the baggage claim is just one little set of rollers that comes out and they stick. It's just some guy. And then like you have to go up there and just keep pulling the luggage out because the rollers don't even work that well. It's just this little room the size of a freaking living room.
I mean, we think Burbank is small.
Yeah. Oh, I do. Like, I found out something on my trip too, is apparently you can't have fireworks in a national park or national land. We were letting off fireworks like fucking idiots. We had these Roman candles that were like shooting into the woods. It was very, very fun. But then the police showed up, and then they're like, okay, as long as it's not guns. And then the
Doesn't it
next
seem like 4th of July was forever ago?
yeah, it was. But when you're a redneck camping, this is also what you do, Maddie.
Did you
uh,
camp?
yeah, we were camping. We camped like 3 nights in fucking
Do you
southern
sleep in a
Colorado.
tent or do you like,
I slept in a tent. Yeah.
what do you shit?
Uh, oh, this was like
They
there were
have
some
like bathrooms.
shitters on
Yeah,
premise. We
gotcha.
called it the Duke shuttle because
Yeah.
we get in his truck and drive up to the shitter and let her rip. But
And
yeah, I
then what
got
do you
rained
get?
on too, man. Those tents were it's kind of a cheaper tent, and it rained a lot for some reason. It was like
And
coming
what do
down.
you
I
make
got
for food?
so oh well, my buddy's a chef, so he made like tri-tip and mashed
Nice.
potatoes.
Oh, awesome.
So imagine you're like drunk and you're just high
Just
and
eating.
you just
And it's,
and then at the end of the night he just puts on all this great food, and the next night he made a pork
is
loin.
anybody else around or?
Yeah, we have some neighbors and stuff. Um, they were all scared of us, so
Yeah.
they didn't fuck with it. We were playing
Who's all,
cornhole.
just you and him or?
Yeah, just he and I. Yeah,
Nice.
no, it was fun. It was.
I haven't been camping. I've actually never
I
been
could
camping.
never picture you camping.
As a matter of fact, when I was 11, here's my one camping story. My my buddy Eric, he got a tent for his birthday. So I got invited to sleep over and we're gonna camp in his backyard,
Sure.
which is literally like 10 feet from his house.
Yeah.
At like 9 o'clock at night, I'm like, screw this. So I forced him to sleep over in his house and he was not happy about it.
What did you not like about it?
It was the ground was hard. I was scared. There was flies. I was getting flies. And I'm like, why not just sleep inside when it's nice?
You know what, Maddie? Why not?
And he was so excited and he was so mad at me.
I mean, Maddie, you're not wrong. And I'll say this, like at one point I thought there was a bear outside my tent. I woke up terrified. It's funny because all the things you hate, and then these are all the things I love. Like I was terrified. I got fucking soaked one night. My neck was all fucked up from sleeping goofy.
So it's 3 days, right?
It's 3 days. Yeah.
I'm thinking how much money.
Well, it was $10 a night to camp.
I'm saying though, I would do it for $1,000. Like I think I could last 3 nights for $1,000.
Wait, you mean someone would have to pay you to do that?
Yes, correct. No, I ain't paying shit. I ain't paying the $10. But if you
Maddie,
pay
what
me
about $1,000 to do like a Survivor Man situation for 2 days?
For what?
Survivor Man situation. You get like a
What is that?
backpack. You get a backpack, and then we just throw you out in the woods for like 2 days.
$2,000.
Maddie would be dead in 10 minutes.
Do I get a tent?
If you can fit it in the backpack.
Is the woods like a campground or just the woods?
It's like a regulated. It's the woods, but it's like by a campground, so you're not like far.
I saw Deliverance. I'm not right.
There's no people out there, Maddie.
There's monsters. There's bears. There's demons. There's what's
demons?
it called? Mothman prophecies. The Mothman.
The cryptids, as
Yeah,
they call them
yeah.
in
I love the
Appalachia.
cryptids, man. Those are my boys.
Oh, I'm trying to write a joke. I was watching Unsolved Mysteries.
The new ones?
Yeah, and they did
Dude,
one.
if it doesn't have Robert Stack in it,
not the
suck my
same.
fucking dick.
Yeah, it's
they
not the
did
same.
one about fucking Jack the Ripper. And at the end they go, if you have any clues or tips, call this number.
You should have called up and been like, "Hello, I think I know who Jack the Ripper is.
I
I
think
got
I know who
contact.
done it.
He's this Polish fella.
I was gonna
I don't
blame it on
trust
Matthew
him.
Perry.
Wait, you were gonna what?
I was gonna be like, hey, I think it's Matthew Perry
Oh, good.
because he does an English accent sometimes.
It's funny.
I
All right. Let's see. I got one more. I got one more story. Did you see this? Back to the Olympics. They let a child rapist play volleyball for the Netherlands.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, did see that.
What's his story? Did he win
Steven
a
Van de
gold?
Velde.
Yeah.
And so when he was 19, he like solicited a girl online who was 12,
Oh.
and he goes to meet her and gets her drunk and fucks her.
Oh boy.
Yeah. And
Yeah, not great.
I don't know. It's weird. It's like there are some things like you would like a path to redemption, but that's one thing where you're like, I don't.
Yeah, that's a hard redemption.
Now. Yeah. And I don't think they take that as seriously in Europe as they do here.
No.
Um,
I don't know. I wouldn't know. I'm not in Europe, but
Well, he was in jail for 4 years.
4 years. Okay, that's serious, I guess. You know.
The thing was, so he's from the Netherlands. He got charged in the UK, and then he was transferred to the Netherlands to serve his sentence, and then they adjusted it in line with Dutch law. The charge of rape was substituted for one referring to sexual acts that violate social ethical norms. And then 13 months, he was released.
That's like every
Hold
time
on one
Maddie has
sec.
sex, it's a violation of.
It's because so apparently
social norms.
it's country law is kind of what you're saying, Luke. Dutch law only recognizes rape if force is involved.
I'm busy in 5
Oh, I see. So it's just more of a I don't know how you would.
I guess it's not like sexual assault or something like that.
Right.
It's the actual it's called untucht or whatever, which in Dutch it translates roughly to sexual acts that violate social ethical norms.
Okay.
So
well, you learned something new.
What did they decide to do, or did he just compete and it's just a story?
He was just allowed to compete.
Well, that is a bizarre story for sure.
I know. And then he was like sitting there signing autographs of these kids and stuff.
Wow.
Like, when he went back to a hero's welcome.
Did he won a gold medal?
No, he didn't win shit. I mean, they made it to the round of 16, but then got smoked by Brazil. Very, very peculiar story, though. Something it's not going to fly in the U.S. I know. Who was that guy from Stanford? Brock?
Yeah, I saw Matt Aruza's punting, though, again.
Well, that guy was completely exonerated, though.
Yeah. Yeah.
Who's he playing for?
Kansas City.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah, they got the all female sympathizing kick team there.
You were thinking of Brock Turner, right? From Stanford?
Brock Turner, yeah.
Yeah, he was a big
convicted rapist, Brock Turner.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I don't know. Oh my God. I need a palate cleanser after that. You guys got anything? Because
I'm gonna go watch Hard Knocks.
Yeah, college football. Who do we got? What was it? Florida State?
It's week 0. It's Florida State, Boston College is the main one, I think. Or no, is it Georgia Tech?
I thought it was.
I'm looking forward.
I think you're right. I think it's Georgia Tech. Week 0, we have Florida State, Georgia Tech in Dublin.
Opening right up with a conference game too.
Mm-hmm. They did it last year. Remember, it was they do it like every year. It feels like they do a conference game now.
Okay.
Week 0, like Nebraska 2 years ago played Northwestern in Dublin.
Okay. Why do they all play in Dublin? Does Dublin give a shit about football?
The games go pretty hard. I want them to kind of cycle around like the NFL's been doing. Play an opening game in Germany. Go to Japan. Play in the Tokyo Dome.
Right. No, that would be sick. It's good for the sport. Good for your brand too.
And we get kind of the full experience because we have games Saturday on week 0 from 11 till 11 at night Central Time.
They should be
because Hawaii plays because we get a Hawaii game.
Oh yeah. They should be playing games in Australia. That's how you can build your brand and recruit, too.
And Montana State is favored over New Mexico, which is hilarious.
Where's this one at? This is the one.
It's Montana State at New Mexico, but Montana State's FCS. New Mexico, obviously, FBS. Montana State is favored. Montana State's a good FCS school, though. They are really good. I'd say like a top 6 FCS school.
Good.
All right, boys.
We're excited for that. Games are finally starting happening. we'll be covering them next week
Oh.
and getting ready for the full slate of games the following weekend as well.
Damn right.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll catch you all next week for another exciting edition of the Sports Ho. Bye-bye.